Want to know the best way to study Chinese in China while getting paid? In this video, I interview George Christopher, an American actor playing in Chinese TV shows and movies. And near the end, he'll tell you how he learned 2,600 Chinese characters in his first year teaching in China. Coming up. Hi, I'm Kwadwo. I've lived in China for 10 years and I speak good Chinese. Every week, I'll publish a video that helps you get better results speaking everyday Mandarin. I'll also interview expats here so you can see how they learned and applied their secrets to your learning. If you're new here, consider subscribing. George Christopher speaks phenomenal Chinese. He'll tell you how he learned Chinese so well in a moment, but first, here's a clip from the Chinese TV series Red Star Over China where he played the leading role.
许多人跟我讲，他们是看了《西行漫记》，也就是《红星照耀中国》，才决定到这里来的。听到这话，我当然非常高兴。这是对我这本书最好的评价。
How good are you now? How good is your Chinese?
Right now, I actually have an audition. I have to do an audition tomorrow for a big TV show. One of the techniques that I do to learn my lines is actually to write out. Here, I'll give you a sample. You'll be able to tell the two different characters. 别动！不紧起来一会儿，着了脚怎么办？我让你别动。你知道这花瓶是坐飞机来的吗？怎么每次有你在都能搞出点状况啊？我说你至于吗？就一个花瓶啊，坐飞机坐火箭过来，它也就是个花瓶啊。你说多少钱？我赔给你。好啊，赔吧，8000。When I first came to China, I knew I wanted to come to China, but I absolutely knew that I would not want to live in Beijing, Shanghai, or any big city. And I wanted to connect with a place in China and people in China that I felt represented China as a whole. I got a contract from some school in Henan, Xiangqiu. It's an ancient city. It's one of the poorest cities in the really poor province of 100 million people. And all of my students were peasants. They were quite poor, but in that way they represented the majority of China. And my first year in China, I was hanging out with these guys, and these were the people who introduced me to China. And a lot of my closest friends, even until today, were friends that I made that first year. And then after I did 1 year at Xiangqiu teaching English, I spent 9 months backpacking all over China. And that was when I studied Chinese most intensely. So when I was teaching English, I didn't have as much time to study Chinese as I would want. When I finished my contract, I literally spent 4 hours every single day. So all of my Chinese has always been self-taught. I never paid a dime for a Chinese lesson. I was living in a Buddhist temple in Hong Kong. I was camping in the mountains. I have many fond memories of me being on the train with my books and my vocabulary lists and talking to random peasants. Literally, I would spend 4 hours every day building my vocabulary. By the end of those 9 months, I knew about 1,600 characters, which is pretty solid. That was where my foundation for Chinese was really laid. Even now, I probably only know about 2,600 characters. So most of my Chinese characters I learned in the first year and a half. And sometimes when you're living in a big city like Shanghai or Beijing, it's easy to get mixed in with other expats or to interact with like kind of westernized Chinese people. That first year in Henan, I spent like a month in the countryside, like in villages. We're talking like as rustic as you can imagine. 1 room, little hole in the ground for your bathroom, super, super poor village. I have a bunch of friends from the countryside and they were very gracious and they invited me to their homes. I think one way to really understand Chinese culture and people is to go down to the farm, because China's urban development has only been happening for the last 30 years. And most of the people who live in the cities now, a generation ago, they lived in the countryside. Whereas we've been living in cities or suburbs for over 100 years. Chinese people have been living in cities for 10 to 20 years or less. But I feel like there's a lot of Chinese people who are very open to connecting with foreigners and sharing their story, especially if you speak Chinese. But even if you don't, you have a lot of westernized English-speaking Chinese people who have a lot on their chest that they want to share that sometimes they can't share with Chinese people because of social pressures and stigmas and whatever, and they'll end up sharing with foreigners things that they wouldn't share with Chinese people. And that's a really beautiful aspect of being a foreigner living in China. Chinese people allow you that access to their personal lives as long as you're genuine, you're sincere, and you are interested in them.
What you just shared was powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that.
I know. Thank you.
He shared a lot with us. Thank you for that interview. Question of the day. What do you think the best way to learn Chinese is? Leave your answer in the comments below and join the discussion of elementary Chinese. That was a 4-minute clip of a 50-minute interview with George Christopher, and he was inspiring. Want more? Getting my ebook puts you on the VIP list, and I'll put exclusive video in there that won't go on YouTube. As a VIP, when you ask Mandarin questions, I make impromptu audio lessons just for you. If you want to get in touch with George Christopher, I put links to his social media down in the descriptions. Also leave a comment, ask a question. Join the elementary Chinese community in the comments below. Again, this is Kwadwo, creator at elementarychinese.com. Good study, day up. What do I do here? Oh jeez. 2,600 Chinese characters. Blah 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 blah. What was that? I don't even know.